And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon. Today I'm talking with Brent Weaver. Brent, thanks for being with me today, sir.
Great to be here.
It's going to be a fun conversation. Brent and I got connected a few months ago through a mutual friend. Brent, he helps you if you're a digital marketing agency, Brent will help you run your agency like a pro. He's been doing this for a number of years. He's on a mission. I love this. To help 10,000, get that 10,000 digital agency owners achieve freedom in business and life by helping them own their market. Oh, we could go deep into that. So as we jump off that diving board, Brent, tell me, how in the world did you get doing what you are doing today?
Well, my first agency that I started personally was when I was 17, and I was a high school kid. So I always tell people, if you have problems getting clients, if 17-year-old Brent in high school can get clients, and anybody can, I promise you.
Yeah.
And I learned how to build websites, and I picked up a couple of clients, people that needed a website. I said, hey, I can do that. And I built them a website and started a business. Got a LLC and had a business partner, another high school friend of mine. He was actually in lunch detention when we met. I won't say whether I was in lunch detention or not. I was just my story is always that he was in lunch detention and I happened to be passing through. But so we started this business, and I think we really wanted to start a business. High school kids, right? We wanted to make some money. And we knew how to build websites and do hosting and that kind of thing. And so then that was like the genesis of that company, and we just kind of kept it going, like a little bit of persistence. And then we after college we decided to take it full time. And we made every mistake humanly possible in terms of starting, running, growing a business. I mean, every mistake in terms of, how we signed clients, how we pitched business, how we wrote proposals, how we hired people, we fired people, how we ran our accounting and finances and taxes, and just every element of a business we screwed up like royally. And we use what I call the trial and error method. We would try some stuff and we would see what worked and what didn't work, and then we kind of learn from our mistakes and we kind of keep going. And that's a very painful way to, I think, learn how to do anything in business and anything in life. And so after we sold that business in 2012, we decided to think, okay, like we eventually kind of figured it out, but that journey took like 8 years to kind of like figure out how to run a successful business. And then the last like 5 years of running that agency were very rewarding, but the first 8 were not so rewarding. And so we said, hey, what if we started a business helping people to avoid all that stuff that we struggle with? And so that's when YouGurus was born. And that was back in 2012. And we've been fortunate enough to stay around that long and help thousands of agencies. And from everything from just teaching them basic sales processes to how to niche, how to build revenue and cash flow projections, how to build systems and processes, have a playbook, productized services, recurring revenue, all those kind of hot button topics that agency owners want to learn how to do. We've basically built a program to help them master those skills and really turn pro.
That's awesome. I love it. I just wrote down here what not to do to run your agency like a pro.
Yeah. I always thought, like, if we could give somebody our first program was a 10-week boot camp. And I was like, if I could teach somebody what took me like a year to learn how to do, if I could teach them that in 10 weeks, that'd be like a great value proposition. And then our current program is really a 3-year vision to help agencies conquer a niche. And that is like, that took me like 13 years. And so if we can really help somebody accelerate that timeline, we've found that's a very, people love it. They highly valued experience.
Yeah. Well, and I totally value the experience of you going through the school of hard knocks and then saying, okay, don't go down that pathway. Here's what you need to do. Because so many times, so many programs are out there to help you scale, help you become a 7-8 figure business. And they don't teach you these other things because they just graduated from some class probably. And they don't have the experience that you do. And that's the value, I think, Brent, that you bring to the table in the community that you've created for agency owners is, here's what not to do. Oh, by the way, and here's what to do. And we've got a structured process to help you go through that. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about YouGurus and what is it that y'all do? Who should be there? What are the I want to say struggles that an agency owner is having before they really come to you? What are they just dealing with that says, "Oh, I need help"?
So, I mean, so in terms of what we do, we're a business accelerator for digital agencies. So if you're somebody who has an established agency and you're maybe doing, a couple team members somewhere in the six figures, low six figures to mid six figures, we got to help accelerate you and help you grow your business. We've got a couple of, I'd call them, positions in terms of how we think an agency should scale in order to achieve freedom. Part of that is really owning a specific market so that you can build repeatable systems and processes and build authority in the marketplace. And then we also, as of this year, started serving folks that are a little earlier in the stage as well, people that are looking to launch a digital agency. So if you already have an agency, most of those folks we talk to, one of their top problems is they don't have enough leads coming outside of referrals or word of mouth. So how do we help them start to really solve that kind of front of the funnel problem? And then the other thing is like their average deal size. So those are the two most common things is like they're not able to charge enough and they're not getting enough leads and clients. And so, that's kind of where most of our folks they come to us for initially. And then once those things get worked out, once they get really clear on their market, and we start moving into some deeper problems around scaling your business. And then there's the folks that are just starting out. And for them, it's like basic questions around how do I start an agency? How do I decide what services to offer? How do I get my first 5 clients? That kind of thing. So if you're struggling with those types of things, then we can definitely help.
That's awesome. And the thing I like, Brent, about what you've created, not aside from the fact that I just like you and who you are, but you've pulled this together in one ecosystem. And as I talk with business owners all day, every day, I find business owners running after different things and getting counsel from different coaches or agencies or whatever. And so many times it's not aligned.
Mm,
And the
yeah.
business owner starts really getting confused, which leads to procrastination. And talk about the importance of that ecosystem. You may call it a different word, right? That you've put together and how it really benefits somebody to get involved in how
Yeah.
you help them grow.
So I spent a lot of time learning how to do stuff on YouTube, which I think is a great platform. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really, it's a great way to learn how to do anything, right? Sometimes you watch videos on YouTube though, and they look simple because the person, it's like this process that took somebody, 3 years, they get to summarize in a 4.5 minute long video or whatever. And so sometimes these things look maybe more approachable or easier than they are in real life. And I think in business, it's hard to gauge that risk. So one of the things I do in my personal times, I love to cycle. I love all kinds of biking, mountain biking, BMX, whatever. And so during COVID, I was spending a lot of time BMXing with my boys. We'd build ramps, we'd watch a lot of these YouTubers and stuff like that. And so we were like learning how to do tricks, from YouTube. And it's really easy if you're not a very experienced person at BMX, right? And you go on YouTube and you watch somebody do like a double backflip over on a half pipe or whatever, right? Like you look at
Yeah.
that and you clearly see like, okay, cool, that's amazing, that's great, but that's not for me. I'm not there yet, right? I'm working on like a bunny hop or whatever, right? So you might watch that stuff for entertainment and an inspiration, like, oh, I want to be that one day, and then you might like then search for like how to bunny hop or like
Right.
first, easy tricks to master BMX, right? So that's like, I think that YouTube is a great platform for those things that you can inherently understand that there's a spectrum between where I am and where the most experienced people are. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem I think in business is those risks and that calibration isn't quite as clear. And so here, I'll give you an example. Let's
Yeah.
say somebody's looking to get clients and they go to YouTube and they type in how to get clients for an agency or whatever, right? And somebody's on there and says, hey, you should run ads. You should run Facebook ads, right? Let me show you how to scale your business using Facebook ads, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, you need to run Facebook ads, right? And so they spend all this time learning how to run Facebook ads. They start spending money on Facebook ads, right? And then, you ask them 6 months later, hey, have you got any clients? Did the Facebook ad thing work? And they're like, no, man, I just spent like a ton of money. I didn't get any ads. Oh, cool. Like, well, where are you at in your agency journey? Well, I'm trying to get my first clients.
Right.
Oh, show me the ads you're running, right? oh, it just says, web design or whatever, right? Like they have no niche, they have no market, they don't really know their audience. They don't have any money. Like, hey, did you know the average CPA to acquire a customer for an agency is somewhere around like $2,000 to $5,000 on Facebook? So somebody might be like, oh, hey, what was your monthly ad budget? I was spending about $300 a month. Oh, cool. So like you probably would have taken you 10 months of advertising consistently on a proven funnel, not an experimental funnel. Like
Right.
maybe I would be expected to spend about 3x CPA on an experimental funnel. That means that I should be willing to spend up to $10,000 to try to experiment with different campaign and copy. So that would have taken that person at $300 a month years to find their first client. And so I think what ends up happening when we're trying to build our business from YouTube is there's no mentor to say, hey, you know what? Yes, you could run ads. Eventually that might be a great strategy, but for where you are right now, this isn't the right strategy for you.
Yeah.
And so we built our program, I think, in a way of saying, like, we have the content component. I love that people love to go out there and learn stuff about how to grow businesses online, but that when do I use what strategy is, I think, even more important, or at least as important as knowing what strategy there is to offer, right? So if you're a brand new agency, should I be running Facebook ads to get clients? Probably not.
Yeah.
Should I go to, if I have an idea of what market I'm going to target, should I go to one of their events and spend $500 to be surrounded by people from a certain market so I can start to learn, the language that they're using, so I can meet them face to face, so I can practice my elevator pitch with them, like that would be a great opportunity versus, going to like Facebook ads or Google ads or things like that. I hear a lot of people, cold emailing. Like, oh, I'm just cold emailing. Oh, cool. Like, how are you? Can you walk me through your metrics, right? How
Yeah.
many emails have you sent in the last, let's say, month? Oh, probably 100. Okay, cool. Let me walk you through the funnel metrics of what the response rate. Let's say we go with a 5% response rate.
Right.
So we send 100 emails. That means 5% of people might respond to you. Then out of those, maybe 5% will have a conversation with you, like meaning over email, or what I'd call a chat. So they haven't just responded, but they're actually playing ping pong now with you.
Yep.
And then 5% of those people would be willing to schedule a meeting with you. And then from those, maybe 20% would go into discovery. And then out of that, maybe the best salespeople are closing 30 to 40%. So you start running through and you go, okay, 100 outbound messages one time is going to be somewhere around, 0.01 clients, right?
Right.
And so people are like, well, wait a minute. If I was doing, if I'd have to send emails all day, every day. And you're like, yeah, cool. That's exactly, if you're doing outbound email, that's exactly what you have to do because that's who you're competing against.
That's right.
And so, like, that would also be, in my opinion, not a great strategy for an early stage agency owner because they're actually not going to learn much with outbound. Whereas, jumping into a Facebook group that's highly active for a specific niche market, like doctors or architects or, whatever, reaching out to the admin and saying, hey, how can I get involved in your group? How can I create content? How can I create value? Having a call with somebody who serves a group like ours for agencies, having a call with them and saying, hey, I'd love to create some content for interior designers. And, you actually talking to somebody who runs a group for interior designers or doing a little workshop for an association of interior designers, right? Like the amount of learning that you'll get from those types of interactions will then inform later more direct marketing to those audiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, if you're a newbie, go to the Chamber of Commerce trade shows. Go to the trade shows, not with a booth, but as an attendee and walk around, talk to people, get that information because that's going to help inform you so that your message is more clear. And I think people are scared of niches because they're like, well, there's too few people here. And it's like, no. You don't need the world.
Yeah.
You need to own an audience. And from
I
there,
don't, I think most people don't know how many, I think most of us that hang out on the internet, Michael, don't know what 100 people look like.
I think you're right.
Okay. Like if you've ever been, first of all, I've run a lot of events and just to
Yeah.
get 100 humans in a room together takes an incredible amount of effort, Like it's no joke. Like when you see an event with 200, 300, 400, 1,000 people, right? It's like the amount of of effort to get 100 or 1,000 human beings to all move one direction, to get on planes
At
and show up someplace
time.
takes a
Yeah.
massive amount of effort. But if you've ever given a talk, I mean, even again, it depends on the room size, but like if you're ever in a room, even with 20 people,
Yeah.
and if those 20 people are, if they fit the demographics, geographics, psychographics, if they have intent towards the services and the problems that you solve, even giving a talk to 20 people, if they're the right people, could be a game-changing moment for a digital agency. And so I think sometimes we get really comfortable with these like big numbers behind like, Google Analytics and ClickFunnels and
Yep.
and go high level and whatnot. Like, oh, I only had 1,000 people come to my website today. Like, if you actually were at an event and there was 1,000 people in front of you in an audience, and you had to go up and speak to those people, like, I think that it'd be a different dynamic for people. And so I think that like niching, oftentimes we think, oh, there's not a lot of opportunity there because we're doing research. We're seeing, oh, you know, there's only 100,000 dentists in the US. Like, oh, I don't think that just feels so limiting. Well, let me run you through the numbers, right?
That's right.
If you have 30 clients paying you $3,000 a month, which again is less than half of the average salary in the US for a marketing professional today, less than half. So 30 dentists paying you $3,000 a month. They're not even paying for a full marketing person, but they get your team of 5 SEOs or 5 web designers or whatever, right? $3,000 a month. That's $90,000 a year, or I'm sorry, a month. That's $90,000 a month. And the magic number for $1 million a year business is $83,334 a month, basically, is what's going to tip you over $1 million a year business. So 30 clients at 3K a month is going to mean that you're going to have a 7-figure business.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head what 30 divided by 100,000 is, but there could literally be 50 agencies focusing on dental,
Oh yeah.
and they could all have 7-figure businesses, and there would still be like 95,500, whatever. There'd still be 95,000 dentists that don't have an agency of record that are
Right.
helping them with websites, ads, SEO, et cetera. So
Yeah.
I think that there's like, some people think, okay, niching is limiting, but I think when you really look at it, the opportunity is overwhelming.
It is. It is. And I just want to encourage my audience, whether you're an agency owner or a business owner, stop, rewind, and listen to the last 4 or 5 minutes of what Brent just said. Brilliant. Because I think so many times we think we have to serve everybody. We don't. We need a smaller audience. We need to be really good at what we do. And what you're talking about is building systems that are repeatable so that you can get more of those dentists. And then I assume over time you're going to say, hey, I've got this niche. I'm going to add another niche. And I already have
Sure.
most of the systems. And now I'm going to do another one and another one. And that's how you can grow. But what I want people to understand is what Brent just said off the cuff comes from years of experience. You can't buy that kind of knowledge. And what he's done is he's taken that knowledge and put it into an online group experience. I want you to unpack just a tad bit about
Yeah.
what people are experiencing at You Gurus. What is it?
Yeah. So we've got 3 main pillars. We've got our training component, which is kind of videos, tools, resources, roadmaps, et cetera. There's the mentorship component. So we have about 22 active agency mentors that are certified through our program to mentor other agencies. So we teach them how to be a coach, how to do mentorship. They've also been all graduates of our program, so they kind of know tools, they know the blueprint. And then we have our community component. All of our members are active in a small, we call them momentum groups. It's kind of a mix between a small like group mastermind and some accountability. And so everybody's in a small group. They also have access to our global community. We do some in-person events as well. So we find that mix of like mentorship to be their guide, but also have the right tools, right? If we're going out on an expedition, we want to have that guide, but if we don't have a tent, if we don't have like the hammers and the pickaxes, right? We're trying to climb a mountain. That's going to be problematic. And then having that peer support, seeing that other people are on this journey with me. We find that mix is a really good mix for people. And sometimes, it's interesting because there's perceptions out there, and then there's like the reality. Like I very rarely see agencies that have scaled in a market actually add additional niches, which is interesting because whenever I talk to people on the front end, they're always like, oh, well, we could have it. And I thought this too, Michael, like having like, if we niche in this agent, this market, and then we can add another one, right? And then once I really owned a market, I realized, oh my gosh, they're just like that.
That's
All that other stuff is just distractions for me, you know. So I
yeah.
think usually when we see an agency scale to 2, 3, 4, 5 million in any market, that they start to then instead of going after other markets, usually what we see happen is they start to build more high value assets in that market. So things like SaaS,
Yep.
courses, coaching programs, YouTube channels, royalty based income streams, right? Like they start to build this like empire
Yeah.
within that market. And I didn't even know that was possible early on. And so that's, I think sometimes we'll see people, they'll want to do something. We'll say, you know what, there could be a different strategy that could get you more value for less time. And usually that's what we like to see people evolve towards.
Amen. Amen. Well, all right. Well, let's bring this home.
Yeah.
If you're an agency owner out there and you're wanting to build, to grow, to scale, to whatever you put the adjective in there, let me just encourage you to connect with Brent and his team at You Gurus, because they've been doing this a long time. They've learned from the School of Hard Knocks. They've got this. I love the 3 pillars: the training, the mentorship, the community. That is magic right there in and of itself, let alone the brain that comes out of Brent. So Brent, how do people, they're sitting here going, okay, I got to find some more information. Where do they go?
Yeah, they can check out our website at ugurus.com. That's UGURUS.com. Or I know we've talked a lot about niching today. It's not the entire agency experience, but if you want to learn more about that specifically, I've got a book called Get Rich in the Deep End. I know your audience is very they're very tuned into books and
That's
book
right.
marketing. But if you guys want a free copy of my book, I'm happy to go ahead and send you a hard copy of that. Just shoot me an email at brent@ugurus.com and just say, hey, heard you on Michael's podcast. Would love to get a copy of your book, and our team will get that sent out to you.
Awesome. What a great offer. I hope everybody heard that, because wow, what a great call to action. Get a free copy of my book, right? YouGurus.com. If you're running an agency, if you're thinking about running an agency, there is no better place on earth that I know of than You Gurus and putting yourself in and around Brent Weaver. So Brent, man, thank you for being here. It has been amazing. I just love being with you, because you are just wicked smart, but you're more than that. You're a great guy. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you, Michael.